guys, so recently I did a video on my really basic stripped down skincare routine, so just a handful of products that I've been really loving and using a lot this month. But I thought I'd do one on the kind of beauty extras that I do sort of incorporate into the routine every now and then. So I do like to use masks occasionally and extra oils, extra little bits, so I'm just going to talk about my favourite things to sort of include into my basic skincare routine today. So a lot of people ask me why I didn't mention my Clarisonic in that previous video, and I've kind of cut down my use of it. I still do use it at least once a week, but I've tried to sort of move away from manual exfoliation, so anything too harsh on the skin, anything with real abrasive kind of gritty beads, just because I feel my skin was getting quite exfoliated but also slightly damaged. My pores are really enlarged and I found I was getting sort of little broken capillaries and things around the nose. Nothing major, they went away, but it was just sort of lots of redness and irritation, and I kind of put it down to using too much exfoliation. So I've really stripped my kind of exfoliators down more to things with very gentle formulations, nothing with a scrubby kind of gritty texture to it. So I do use the Clarisonic you know, once a week, maybe twice, just with a bit of my cleanser to sort of give a little bit of exfoliation. But I've moved on to using the gentle brush head now, so it's very soft on the skin. It's not a really abrasive way to exfoliate, but it just gives that little bit of extra boost to the skin. I do also use this occasionally when I'm wearing really thick heavy makeup, mainly Estée Lauder's Doublewear, because this just makes sure it's all off and that my skin is really clean and fresh and there's nothing kind of lurking away in the pores. Another extra cleansing product that I use sometimes is the Origins Clean Energy Cleansing Oil, and I mainly stick to sort of micellar waters to get off the bulk of my makeup before going on to properly cleansing. But sometimes, again, if I'm wearing a really full coverage foundation or a lot of makeup, I like to splash a little bit of this on my face. So I take it on dry skin and really work it in, and it just melts down the makeup, it breaks it down, and it just makes it easier to sort of go on to the next step of cleansing. So the main bulk of the extra products that I use are actually masks, and I do again like to use masks at least once or twice a week because I feel they just refresh the skin and they're deep cleaning and they're hydrating and all sorts of things. So I do have quite a few that I like to use, and they kind of sit in 3 different categories. So I've got really deep cleansing ones, more moisturising ones, and then exfoliating ones. So the 2 that I use for cleansing are the Super Facialist by Brennan Tea Flower Deep Clean Mask, and this is a clay based mask. It's really quite deep cleansing, so you can feel it working on the skin. It's quite tingly and zingy, and you sort of know it's working. It doesn't sting, but you can definitely feel it, and it's actually got tea flower in it, so it's really great for blemishes and kind of acne prone skin, and it just really clears out everything. So I like to use this a lot on my nose especially, so sometimes I'll just use it on certain areas because I do have combination skin. It's not all completely oily, but I do get a few dry patches, so quite often I'll take this just along the T-zone, and it just pulls out everything from the pores, so excess oil and, you know, build up of sebum and things like that just get stuck in there and just end up making your skin a bit oilier and looking a bit dull. So it's really great for a good deep clean. And also I have the Eve Lom Rescue Mask here, which is quite a pricey little number, but it is beautiful. It's very similar, it's a clay based product. And I find it's a little bit more gentle, so I use it all over the face, and it's deep cleaning, but it also, I find, really brightens the skin up, so it really gives a nice fresh radiant look. So the hydrating masks I use, I mainly go for the Roche-Posay Hydrophase Intense Mask. This is such a rich, creamy feeling mask. Although it's not heavy at all, it feels quite light and fresh on the skin, so it lets your skin breathe, and you just put a thick layer of it on and leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And it just really softens your skin, so any dry patches, any dehydration, it really just works to get rid of those and give you really plump, sort of smooth feeling skin. So the second hydrating mask I have is one that I've mentioned so many times, and you're probably all sick of me talking about it, but it's the Origins Drink Up Intensive Overnight Mask, and I probably use this every 3rd night or so, so every 3 days I will put this on instead of my usual night cream, and oh, it's just the perfect product. It's again really rich and really plumping, and if you put this on at night, you wake up and you can almost like feel like it's still there, like it's kept moisturising your skin throughout the night, which is just what I always look for in a product. So if I'm using something in the evening, and then I wake up in the morning, if my skin still feels like I've just put it on, that's what I look for. So it's definitely a great one for dry skin, and just really if you've got a lack of kind of like radiance as well, so it really helps with dull skin. It just brightens it up, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful product. So moving on to exfoliating masks, and again I've got more into these recently. I use them a lot more frequently than I used to. So the first one is the Elemis Papaya Enzyme Peel, and I've had this for so long. I've always loved this product. I actually got sent 6 when I only paid for 1, so I'm never ever going to run out of it. But it's a very gentle exfoliating mask, so it's not one of the products that have like AHAs and glycolic things in that. I'll come to those later. But if you feel you want to sort of move on to more of a chemical exfoliant in a mask or in a cleansing product, but you're worried your skin is going to be a bit too sensitive, this is perfect because it's so creamy and light on the skin, and you can't even feel it not working, but you can't feel it tingling or being tight on the skin at all. You just sort of leave it on 15 minutes and take it off, and your skin looks instantly smoother. You'll notice that makeup goes on better. It's just like using a really kind of abrasive exfoliant, but without any of the harmful damage to your skin, and it smells incredible too. It's got this lovely fruity scent to it. So the second mask I have is quite a new one to my beauty extras. I haven't used it for too long, but I am already in love with it, and it's the Ren Glycolactic Radiance Renewal Mask. And I've always been quite hesitant to use products with glycolic acid in, AHAs, ever since using the Alpha H Liquid Gold, which I know everybody raves about, everybody loves it, but I found that it really irritated my skin, and it didn't do much, and it made my skin look more flaky than it did before, and I don't even have particularly dry skin. So yeah, it didn't really work for me, and I was kind of disappointed about that. So I kind of stayed away from products with the sort of chemical exfoliators in them. But I got this, and it's a very different texture. It's almost kind of like jelly. It's really kind of gloopy, and you just put a layer of it all over and you leave it for 10 minutes or so. And when you take this off, you have to sort of polish it with a muslin cloth or a cotton cloth or something. And I just noticed that my skin looked glowing instantly when I used this, even from the first time. And it just looked really fresh and really bright, and I even noticed that my pores are kind of like toned, so not completely gone, but they looked a lot smaller, which is great because I always have quite large pores on my cheeks here and on my nose. So those are the masks and things that I use every couple of days. I kind of rotate them depending on what my skin needs, and then I just have a few extra bits that I use just every now and then, not too often, but when I feel my skin needs a little bit of extra something. So I've got the Roche-Posay Effaclar Duo here, and there was a time when I used this every single day. My skin used to be quite spotty all the time, and I broke out, and I just had kind of at least 10 blemishes on the go all the time. But since using this, I feel my skin's calmed down a lot, to the point where I don't need to use it every single day. But I will just take it if I have, you know, a spot come up or a little patch of spots or something. I'll just pop it on underneath my moisturiser, and I feel it really does help to kind of clean out the skin. So it's an anti-clogging moisturiser. I never really know what to call this because it's called a moisturiser, but it's very light. It doesn't hydrate your skin quite enough to use on its own, I don't think, unless you have really oily skin. But I like to use it underneath my regular moisturiser. So sometimes my skin will do the complete opposite, and it will get really dry. So I'll get little patches of flakiness on my chin and on my forehead, and I like to use a really rich, intense product. So I've got the Balance Me Stellar Face Balm here, and this is great. It's almost like a lip balm kind of texture, and I like to massage a little bit of this on just any patches that I do get of dryness, and it just really moisturises them like a cream just couldn't do. It just protects them almost as well, because it is a balm, but it's not something like Vaseline, say, which is just greasy and leaves a thin kind of like film over the skin. It really kind of penetrates any dry patches. You can actually use this all over the skin, almost like an overnight mask. So sometimes, every now and then, if my skin just feels like it's crying out for moisture, I'll put a thick layer of this all over and really work it in, and then just go to bed and leave it there. And you would think it would sort of block pores and kind of cause breakouts and things, but it doesn't. It lets your skin breathe, but at the same time it gives you the deepest sort of hydrated feeling to it. So the last two products I have are for lips and eyes, and the first one is the Lizel Eye Bright Soothing Eye Lotion, and luckily I don't suffer from really puffy eyes. I don't tend to get puffiness, it's more dark circles that I have to deal with. But sometimes if I've had a late night, or if my eyes are a little bit sore, I do like to use this all over a cotton pad, just pressed on there for a few minutes or so, and it's just really soothing, and it gets rid of any soreness soreness and irritation, and it really helps to sort of drain away any puffiness. And then last of all, I have Lush's Popcorn Lip Scrub here, which I love these lip scrubs. They're so cute and they taste really nice, and they're just a really handy product to have. So when my lips are feeling a bit drier and lip balms just aren't sort of going in well enough, I just take a little bit of this and scrub it all over, and it just gets rid of any of those little dry patches. So those are all my beauty extras. I hope you enjoyed watching that. I hope that was kind of informative for you if you've been looking for a mask to use or something a little extra to incorporate into your skincare routine. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you all soon.